How's it going, everyone? Marriland here, and that's right, it's time for Marriland's Pokemon Ultra Moon walkthrough series, which, trust me, will also apply if you're playing Pokemon Ultra Sun. This walkthrough series will help guide you through the game and show you what kind of new features are going on in Alola. Each episode will be broken up into a specific area, so it should be very easy to navigate by using the playlist down in the description. Additionally, I will be offering Pokemon reviews, which I will show you later, but let's take a look at this cutscene. Well, okay then. Yeah, that's pretty intense. Pretty intense. Now, one thing to mention, you don't actually see this cutscene when you boot up the game for the first time. You'll actually have a menu asking which language you want to play, and you'll have a separate introduction. This scene only plays when you load a save, so don't worry, we'll get back to that. This is just something I needed to show. But anyway, I hope you look forward to the series, and let's get on with the adventure. Alright, so as you can see, now you get to decide which language to play the game in. Since I am playing on a North American copy of the game, English is first, but let's say you had a Japanese copy, then it would show in Japanese. But regardless of which language or which region game you get, you can play it in any of these languages, which is quite impressive, I have to say. I'll be playing it in English, that's the only language I know very well. So, we'll be going with that. Anyway, let's go ahead and begin the adventure. You have a message from the Alola region's own Professor Kukui. Which, by the way, one quick thing I should mention, I will be referring to him as Professor Kukui, not Professor Kukui. Apparently, in the anime, he is referred to as Professor Kukui, but that's kind of insulting to Hawaiian culture because the Kukui tree is, like, one of the things that's, you know, in Hawaii, and there are, like, you know how there are flower leis? There are also, like, Kukui nut kind of necklaces and stuff there. They're really stylish, really cool. So I'm rather familiar with it being called Kukui, not Kukui. If you are reading it by the Japanese name, then yeah, sure, it'd be Kukui. But it's supposed to be a Hawaiian name, or Hawaiian-inspired, kind of like How as opposed to Haw. So yeah, anyway, just so that's clear, I will be referring to him as Kukui, not Kukui. Anyway, hang on now, just give me a sec. Hey there, good evening. So the day has finally come that you're moving to Alola. Alola is a region made up of several islands. That could be the reason the region is chock full of nothing but rare Pokemon. Yeah! There's no shortage of cool Pokemon out here in Alola either. Such mysterious creatures. You'll find them all over. In the grass, in the caves, in the sky and sea. Here in Alola, we love our Pokemon, and we depend on them heaps too. Some of us even battle with them, if we call ourselves Pokemon trainers. Rockruff, Cutiefly, I'll play with you later, so cool your jets. Yeah, he has a Cutiefly on the screen now, that's pretty great. Alright, I gotta ask you some questions about yourself so I can introduce you to everybody. So, which photo should I use for your trainer passport? Alright, so this is basically the game's way of determining what do you look like, what do you want to be? So, again, there's 4 different skin tones, and of course you can be either a boy or a girl. So, I think I'm gonna be this guy right here. I was pretty blonde when I was young, living in Hawaii. It was pretty crazy, so be kind of a throwback to that. Now, my name is, of course, Marriland. Well, okay, that's not actually my name. My real name is Devin, but I go by Marriland, and that is my username. That will be what I'll go by on this adventure. Not to be confused with the state of Marriland, by the way. Although, there will be a funny scene with that. Like I said, I have played through Pokemon Ultra Sun before, and I played as the girl and named her the state Marriland, just because I thought that'd be funny. So if you see that pop up, there's an inside joke there. Anyway, 10-4, good buddy. I'll let everybody out here know you're on your way. Marriland. Yeah, that's a name that hits you like a drop kick right to the head. Woo! And now he has a pick-a-peck over there. Can't wait to see you in person then, cousin. Now, just in case you're not familiar with all this, you know, Alolan lingo or Hawaiian lingo, cousin doesn't literally mean cousin in Hawaii. At least not always. Marriland, come help me with these boxes. All right, Mom. Just doing a little bit of light reading on the plane, I guess. Three months later. Could anything be more soothing? The first evening spent under Alola's calm moon. I feel like I could stay out here all night. But that's enough of that. Time to unpack these boxes. Meowth, go get Marriland for me, would you? Yeah, now if you're playing Ultra Sun, it will be daytime instead, regardless of what your system's clock is set to. At least for this scene. If you are playing Ultra Moon, your in-game time will actually be shifted by 12 hours. So if you're playing at, say, 9:30 at night, it'll actually be 9:30 in the morning. So that's rather convenient for you night owls, but something you want to keep in mind when deciding whether or not you want to play Pokemon Ultra Sun or Ultra Moon. Also, the design and style of your room changes based on if you're a boy or a girl. There's this Poliwag over here if you're playing as the boy. Either way, you got a Snorlax and you got a Switch. You can even take it outside and play. Nice. And there's this thing here, autograph you got from a gym leader in Kanto. They wrote, good luck. Yeah, isn't that kind of neat? All right, anyway, let's get outside. Or at least say hi to Mom. You were out like a light, weren't you? You ought to be full of energy by now. And just look, it's already night here. It's completely the opposite of Kanto. But then we were so far away here in Alola. So Marriland, are you excited to meet some Alolan Pokemon? Oh yeah, you betcha. That's right, I want to hurry up and meet some too. We're living in the Alola region now, the beautiful islands everyone wants to visit. I'm sure the Pokemon living in a place like this must be friendly, right? Might not be a bad idea to go out and see for yourself just how friendly Pokemon here are. Right, Marriland? go and get ready for a bit of exploring. Your bag and hat and things should be hanging on your coat stand in your room. And didn't you leave a copy of Adventure Rules on your desk too? Well, that is true. I did leave that Adventure Rules over there, but they're not really worth it. You can't examine them by pressing this. And it's not overly helpful, but I'll tell you, you can press X to open up your menu, and that'll show up on the bottom screen. One big thing that they changed, if you're kind of looking for the button that says save, you're like, wait a second, where is it? What? Yeah, you can actually press Y now to save, just like that. So it's kind of a shortcut, kind of handy, I guess. As for options, one kind of nice thing is to change the text speed. Although I guess since I read a lot of the dialogue, I'll keep it on normal. But also, you can turn on and off battle effects in here, which basically determines animation when you're in battle. Battle style, typically you'll want to leave this set to switch, but if you're more of an advanced player, you've played through Pokemon games before, you like competitive battles or something, you can challenge yourself by setting it to set instead. Now when it's set to set, no pun intended, then you, well, I'll explain this a little later, but in a nutshell, when you knock out a trainer's Pokemon, you don't get to instantly switch out. Button mode, this is kind of handy. I like changing it L equals A. What this basically means is you can use the L button to count as an A button. That's rather handy if you're, just trying to like run around or just fight against Pokemon and stuff, because you can just mash L while you use your left hand just entirely to navigate and everything. And then I'll get to party/box later. So we're gonna go ahead, oops, I actually needed to press A there. Well, it's fine, it's not a big deal. So I completely ignored my mother and I didn't do what I needed to do. I need to go and get my coat rack. Well, I'm not taking the coat rack with, don't worry. I'm just taking my bag and taking my hat. And I'm gonna leave those adventure rules right where they belong. In this room that I'm unlikely to visit again. There we go. Now I'm looking like a real Pokemon trainer, aren't I? Now you look ready for anything. Oh, but even so, Marriland, try to be careful walking through the tall grass. Still, I have to admit that I'd love to have a new Pokemon around. Why don't you head up toward Iki Town and see what you discover in Alola? Alright, I think I'll do that then. But not without taking a quick nap first. Yeah, you heard me. Meowth? What's up, buddy? Ah, you caught me! It looked like something fell from Meowth's hand. It's an awakening! That's right, your pet Meowth is trying to awaken you with an awakening. You can actually do this at any point after you've gotten the bag. And, not that an awakening is overly helpful, but it's a free item. Might as well go for it. Alright, time for adventure on Alola! Oh man, alright, so, have a lovely surfboard there. That Murkrow kind of freaked me out. There's a Raichu on it. That's so cool. Alright, so, you may notice, if you've played Sun and Moon, that this is a little bit different, huh? What's going on? Something's missing here. Someone's not at your door. Yeah, you actually have to go out on your own. So you're gonna want to actually head up this path right here. And yeah. You're gonna want to go over to Route 1. Now this whole area is actually part of Route 1. It's kind of a big route. Also, take a moment to admire the view, because you might be able to go over there later on. The power of science is amazing! You can enjoy a festival from people around the world without taking a step. Every day is a festival and you can do that. Right you are. Alright, now this is rather important if you are into, well, either shiny hunting or soft resetting, as it's often called, to get a shiny starter, or if you just are looking for certain stats or a certain nature for your Pokemon. So, you will actually have an opportunity to save right here. I might as well, just in case, just to kind of show you. It's good to do that periodically, it doesn't auto-save. But as soon as you take a step right about here, then you'll actually start kind of a cutscene. So I'm just letting you know right now, if that's of interest to you, this is where you'll want to save. Anyway, something's coming at you from the tall grass. Uh-oh. But I don't have any Pokemon. Well, I'll just go catch this thing, right? On second thought, those teeth look pretty sharp. But thankfully, just in the nick of time, we've got some Pokemon that have stepped in to scare that thing away. So the confused thing just runs off. Well, there we go. They look pretty happy to see me. Hey there, cousin. Hang on, I know you. You're Marriland, right? You okay? I saw you get attacked like that. Yeah, I got a bit of help, or I was scared spitless. Yeah, that thing was scary. You and me both, cousin. I'm looking after these Pokemon, but they dashed right out on their own to save you. But I guess I'm getting ahead of myself. Welcome to Alola, the Pokemon Paradise. That's what I'm supposed to be saying. I'm Kukui, yeah, the Pokemon Professor. People and Pokemon live and work together here in Alola too. Don't you ever forget. You can go anywhere, yeah, as long as you got Pokemon in your corner. Wild Pokemon could be lurking in the tall grass, yeah, just waiting to leap out and bite you. But you'll be fine if you got a partner of your own. Hey there. Here, let me introduce the Pokemon that helped you just now. This is the grass-type Pokemon Rowlet. And the fire-type Pokemon Litten. And the water-type Pokemon Popplio. You see, the fact of the matter is, one of these Pokemon will become your first partner, woo! Heh, maybe that's why they wanted to save you. Go on and choose the one you'd like to keep as your partner, cousin. Alright, so now it's time to make an incredibly important decision. Which Pokemon should you start with? Now, one thing I want to make very clear, as I kind of mentioned earlier on, I will be doing Pokemon reviews throughout this series. However, those in-depth, detailed reviews will be contained in separate episodes. Not even episodes, they'll just be separate videos. You'll be able to find them in a playlist, or in the description of the video, or at the end of the video, or there should have hopefully been a little thing you can click, a little notification thingy that will take you to the video. The point is, if you want the in-depth version comparing all three of these starters, talking about their strengths, their weaknesses, what kind of moves they learn, what kind of things they're good against throughout the game as far as like bosses and stuff go, then check out that video. And keep in mind, that'll be kind of the norm every time we go to a new route. There'll be a separate video explaining that. However, I'll give you the short version. So, Litten is kind of rough to use early on, but it actually becomes pretty strong later on in the game. Rowlet, it's probably the worst, but it's probably a little easier early in the game. It has some good matchups against some of the things you run into early on, and it's not terrible, but it's probably the least useful out of the three. But it does get something really nice in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon that it didn't have in Sun and Moon. Actually, a lot of these Pokemon do, because there are move tutors in this game that teach Pokemon new moves that they couldn't have otherwise gotten, even through technical machines. And then there's Popplio. Now, Popplio is the Pokemon that I use in my Pokemon Moon adventure, and I liked it quite a lot. It's a little slow as far as speed goes, but it had a lot of special attack and special defense. This actually makes it pretty good. But all things considered, Popplio is probably the best choice if you're new to the series, the Pokemon series that is, if you're looking for something that'll be relatively effective against the bosses that you'll find, and generally a better option. They're all good, don't get me wrong, but if I had to rank them, because this question gets asked a lot, I would say Popplio is probably the best and the easiest to use for newer players. Litten is probably the second best, although that's only later on. You're definitely going to struggle with it until about halfway through the game. So it's more of a challenge, but once you get it going, it's pretty good. And then Rowlet starts off pretty okay, and ends pretty okay, but isn't as remarkable. But they're all good, like I said. Now, I think I'm actually going to go with Rowlet here. A, because I wouldn't mind a little bit of a challenge. B, because I think it'd be cool. And C, I'd actually be, I'm thinking about my team in advance. And there's a certain Pokemon that you can get early on that I think will serve this very well. It'll be a good duo. So we're gonna go with Rowlet. You chose Rowlet! Yay! Alright, so at this point, you can give your new Pokemon a nickname. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Let me give it a moment to think of something appropriate for this Rowlet, and I'll see you in just a moment. Alright, so I think I'm going to name this little owl Ruffleshot, because eventually it becomes kind of like an archer, and you don't want to ruffle his feathers. So yeah, we'll call him Ruffleshot. I don't know, it's kind of weird. But I'm all about weird names. Okay, so you went with Rowlet. Woo, what a fine looking team you two are. Now that you can have Pokemon battles, you're what we call Pokemon Trainer. Here's a Pokeball for Rowlet too. It should feel nice and cozy in there. Alright, let's get going up to Ikitown, Marriland. Woo, time to meet the Island Kahuna. Island Kahuna? Truth is, that partner Rowlet of yours is a gift from the Kahuna, not me. So let's go show it off and say a proper thank you, cousin. It may not be the only gift you get. In case you hadn't heard, the Kahunas are all crazy strong Pokemon trainers. Be careful about getting into a battle with one. Ikitown is right up here. Get Rowlet there in that Pokeball I gave you. Okay. There, you happy now? Alright, so we can walk along, although we have to trudge through this grass first, and the first thing we're going to run into is... well, in my case, it's Rattata, because it's night out. Rattata appears in the nighttime, Gumshoes, or Yungoos appears in the daytime. So, in a battle, there are all these options here. And again, if you're familiar with the Pokemon series, this isn't going to be as a twist, but I'm explaining this for newer players as well. On the bottom screen, you'll be able to choose either Fight, and your Pokemon all have moves, and these moves do damage in battle or have effects. They also have types. You can also switch your Pokemon if you have multiple Pokemon on your team, which I do not, or you can use items by going to the bag. And of course, there are multiple pockets of items. And you can also run, which should get you away from the enemy. We're gonna take this thing down though. So typically you're going to want to use moves that are of the same type of the Pokemon using them. So in this case, if you started with Rowlet, you're gonna want to use a grass type move. If you start with Popplio, you'll use Water Gun. And if you started with Litten, you'll use Ember. But since I started with Rowlet, I'll use Leafage here. Now, when a Pokemon uses a move of the same type as its own type, or either of its own types, in the case of Rufflet, which, by the way, one thing Professor Kukui did not mention, Rufflet is a grass flying type. Not just a, a grass type, but actually grass flying, so that's kind of interesting. Dual types. First time we've had a dual-type base form starter since Bulbasaur. But yeah, anyway, by using a move of the same type as the Pokemon, that gives you what's called a same-type attack bonus, oftentimes shortened to Stab. And that boosts the power of the move by 50%, which is really handy. So even though these have the same power, Leafage will do more damage. Additionally, if you hit an opponent's weak spot, one of their weaknesses, then you'll do twice as much damage as usual. Or if both of their types are weak, you'll do 4 times as much, so that's pretty good. Also, before I continue, let's just briefly go over these stats that you see up top. Hit points, that's your health. Attack and defense, these I don't know, measure your physical strength and physical defense. So there are 3 categories of moves, rather. There's physical, which is what tackle and leafage fall under. There's special, which I don't have any of. And then there's status moves, which they have that kind of swirly thing there. And they're usually effects. So physical moves, such as tackle and leafage, they take your attack versus the opponent's defense. And that's how it calculates damage. Special moves are very much the same, except they use special attack and special defense, which are the stats that you see on the left. Now speed, that's another very important stat. Whoever has the highest speed moves first in battle. Simple as that. It can be by 1 point. If a Pokemon has 10 speed, it will outspeed Ruffleshot here 100% of the time. Yeah, it's crazy. Now, if in the case you are tied in speed, then it's basically a coin flip to see who will be the first one to act. But that's kind of what stats do in a nutshell, and that's kind of the basis of types. And thank you everyone that already knows what a Pokemon game is for sitting through that, but you know, there may be someone new to the series who doesn't really have a clue. So that's what this is all about. Anyway, we still have some more we gotta do, but I think I'm going to do that on the next episode here. We'll check out more of Route 1, and we'll check out Iki Town for the first time. Anyway, thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you'll enjoy this series. If you did enjoy, I hope you consider leaving a like and maybe a comment, because it'd be very helpful. And, of course, don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more. Anyway, thanks so much, and I'll see you next time, everyone.